Hello, my name is Beth McDonald Stone and I'm an avid knitter and knitwear designer coming to you from Bermuda. It's a really rainy day, it's really lovely. There's not a lot of sun out, so I've got all the lights on. I never usually have to have the lights on in the kitchen because we're full of windows and doors, but today it's rainy and overcast and quite dark. So, my crochet hook got attached. Anyways, so yeah, so everything's good here. Oliver's finished his exams. Yay! Graduation is tomorrow night. So that's all of high school done. And then, yeah, and then it's the summer and then he's off to university. We hope, we assume. It's IB here, so he won't get his results until early July. So his university acceptance is, what do they call it? It's conditional. It's a conditional acceptance. It's not, it's very, I think it's doable. Anyways, we'll see. So the exams are done and that's just great. Otherwise, yeah, been full of knitting, trying to get some patterns out. I know there's been a lot of excitement about the mango tee. I'm wearing one version now. And so the test knitters are knitting that as fast as they can so that we can get that out and published on July 11th. But I'm not going to spend too much time talking about that until we get back to this one, which will make more sense then. So yeah, I've been knitting a lot. I've kind of given myself a lot of deadlines because we are traveling this summer. And so just trying to work around the travel dates and tech editing and test knitting and stuff like that so that we can keep the ball rolling. So it's all good. It's all really exciting. So hope everything's well with you guys. And I hope you're knitting a lot and I hope spring is finding you, or I guess early summer by now, because this will come out and I think it won't quite yet be June. But yeah, I record earlier in the week and publish it on a Friday. So that just explains things. So when this comes out, the graduation will already happen and stuff like that. So anyways, all good, all exciting. Yeah, and because we're keeping our fingers crossed on his exam results, because IB is all exams, and it's a 2-year program, and it's all on the last exams. I think 80 to 85%, and the last 15 to 20% is sort of whatever independent assessment you do and stuff like that. So it's a lot of pressure. I felt bad for Oliver, and as you could tell in our last 2 episodes, especially 2 episodes ago, it was just sort of a comedy of errors and just all the wrong timing with a little bike accident and everything during, like, at lunchtime between 2 exams. It's all over. Everyone's fine. And we're all sighing relief. So that's kind of basically that. So yeah, so what have I been knitting? Well, I finished the Big Bobble Crop by Caitlin Hunter. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. I knit this using Sandnes Garn Lena Held Double. Actually, nope, sorry. I was experimenting with, it's another yarn. I'm getting a haircut too. Drops Bell, which is supposed to be an equivalent. And I think it is. I think it's, both of these are actually Drops Bell. This is held double. It worked out well. It is a heavier yarn held double, but actually feels really nice on the body, even on a hot day. It's not been overly hot yet this year, but you know, there's been some humidity and some heat, and this is really comfortable. I don't wear it with an undershirt. I just, you know, wear it as is. So double Lena, a lot of bobbles. It was a lot of fun. It's a great pattern. I'd highly recommend it. The bobbles, you know, I've talked to you about before that I don't find knitting with linen and cotton that hard on my hands because I don't tension my yarn at all. But I have to say I did find the bobbles just because you're really working the yarn, like you're getting sort of 6 stitches in and then working those 6 stitches out of 1, and that's sort of really manipulating the yarn, and there is no give. But even in the best of times, I do find bobbles a little bit hard on the hands, so I do see that. So I just, like I said last time we talked, I just took it by piece, like sort of tried to get so many rows in a day and that's it, just to keep going, but not to sort of overwhelm myself or you know, hurt my hand or whatever. And that worked out really well. And to be honest, it's such a big gauge. I can't remember exactly what gauge it is, but I think maybe 18 stitches, 16 stitches, something along that. It is such a big gauge that if you give yourself, like, you know, 1 repeat or 2 repeats a day, you're off to the races. Like, it'll grow very quickly. Yeah, highly recommend it. The color I'm using is Garnstudio Drops Bell color Petrol 17, and I think it's such a lovely color. Some did come out in the wash, so Drops Bell is a machine washable yarn. I'll keep washing it by hand until the color is done running, and then I'll throw it in the wash with everything else. And that's why I really love originally Santa's Garnlina, but Drops Bell I think will wear the same way. So that's been a huge win. Yeah, and it looks great with skirts and stuff like that, which is sort of my uniform. Yeah, so yeah, that's that. The other thing I finished, oh gosh, I'm not as prepared as I thought. One second, I'm just gonna go get them. Sorry about that. I read a list and I try to check it before I go, but everyone's home right now because school's over, exams are over, my husband's around too, so I'm just trying to kind of squeeze it in when Oliver's off eating his breakfast and Jeff is at his computer. So I thought I was organized, but not as much as I would have been or should be. Anyways, this is the Quilty Cabin socks. Really cute. There's just that sort of motif up here of the kind of quilt, classic quilt motif. I did use one of Skein Cocaine, Gina's yarn that has a million colors in it. I did use one of those, and it might have been too close contrast wise to the main color yarn, which is a Magpie fiber Swanky sock color, Follow You Into the Dark. So there's not a lot of contrast there, but you know, it's fine. Actually, here you can see it better. It's kind of cool. I like it. Well, I knit socks a lot. I don't really pay attention to it a lot, so it's not like a growth experience where it's a really slow growth experience. So I hadn't really had a clue on how many grams I needed for one sock, and so I did run out. And so I used this again as more of Gina's multicolored here yarn. It was a one of a kind, one of her. What does she call her socks? Oh, Skein Cocaine hot socks. And a one of a kind. And I think it's really fun. But I did run out, and I don't really, I mean, it's in your shoe. I don't really wear my socks that much because it's kind of not sock place here, but when I travel, I do. Anyways, it's in your shoe. You're not going to see it. You're still going to see the lovely little quilt motifs at the top. And I just like the roundy round. I have to say, Gina's Skein Cocaine's tough sock is tough. This knitting it would be a really good hiking sock yarn. It feels very sturdy, very durable, so that's great. And I will keep that in mind in the future to have on hand for really hiking or whatever, because I just think it's really durable. And I go through my socks in the toes. My nails sort of seem to go up rather than kind of curl, so I actually do wear through the tops of socks, and my running shoes actually run through the tops of my running shoes too. I think it's quite something actually. Anyways, so yeah, so that's lovely. The fun thing is my friend Priscilla likes this color too, and she wanted some, so I finished the socks. Her husband was in Bermuda working for 5 days or something like that, and so I ran and dropped off a little care package to Alex, and he brought it back to Priscilla. So this yarn is crossing the ocean, and then I think it might come back here because whatever, it doesn't matter, it's fun. So that's kind of neat. So Priscilla will have similar socks too. Probably I'd recommend Priscilla with a higher contrast color for the main color, unless you like this very low contrast look. But yeah, I'm thrilled with that. I love Magpie. I love knitting with Magpie fiber Swanky sock. To me, it's just part of the just gorgeous around and around. So yeah, so that's great. Those are done. Another pair of socks done. I'll put them in the drawer and hope to travel somewhere cold that I have to wear socks. So that's good. It gets really cold in Bermuda. I just don't wear socks. I have furry Birkenstocks, so they're pretty much the bomb. Anyways, but socks are really fun to knit. So the third thing that I finished is what I'm wearing, and this is my third version of the mango tee, except this one I'm calling a summer sweater because it will be in the mango tee. The fingering weight version is coming out again on July 11th, and I know there's been a lot of interest in it, and I'm thrilled. So that's fantastic. It's a great everyday t-shirt, and it knits up like a dream, and I'll show you the attributes in a second. I also wanted to do a DK version, but I wanted that to be a mango sweater because I wanted to take this concept and take it into the winter. So I'm one of my works in progress, sorry, is a mango sweater, which will have long sleeves, ribbed long sleeves, so fitted long sleeves, boxy fit through the body, and I even put drafting in the pattern a turtleneck, so you have 2 neck options, 2 sleeve options, etc., etc. So that's really the critical one for publishing the pattern. And actually I might as well just jump around a little bit, but so this is my work in progress for that. So this is my mango sweater. You can see I'm just working on the body right now, and I'm really trying to get this done and off to the tech editor before I travel next week. So that's really cool. And I'm using this amazing yarn. I don't think it's necessary, but I am helically knitting it just to make sure that there's no unevenness here. So this is the Wandering Flock highlighter, and we're going to come back to that in a second because I'm going to stand up and show you the sort of boxy look of this, and it'll give you more of an idea what I'm going to ask you next. So this is the Mango Tee. This is a 48-inch bust circumference. It's great. It's a really oversized fit. That's that's around 8 to 10 inches. Positive ease depending on the day. I love it. I've knit this one with Sandnes Garden Lead. No, sorry, I always want to say that because it feels like it. Drops Bell. And this is a 20 stitch gauge, where the original one is a 24 stitch gauge. So it just gives you options. Love it. And the gray is Knitting for Olive Pure Silk color lambs here, held double. So it works beautifully that way. So yeah, I love it. I knit it, and before I started knitting it, because I was supposed to knit the sweater version first, because that's really the critical one for this design. Like I said last week, I was in town, and I found the most beautiful skirt that meets my criteria, which it has to be machine washable. And I thought, oh my gosh, wouldn't this be so much fun together? So if you can picture this skirt, this top, like how great is that? So really excited about that. Chair's not helping us out. Anyways, so love that. So this is why I had to get this. Jumped on my needles right away so that I have a cute summer outfit. Really fun. I think the pattern is really lovely. So you can see there how it even has a bit of that sort of lamb's ear gray on the outline of the flowers. Really excited to wear that. I'm not wearing it today because I wiped out and grazed my leg. That's actually a really funny long story. Not a long story, but maybe I'll tell you at the end of the podcast because it's kind of comical. If I would have loved to have been a car driving by because I think it was a bit of a show. Anyways, so found this skirt in town. I was like, oh my gosh, that's such a beautiful skirt. It's machine washable, great price. And I have yarn to make a perfect coordinating top. So that's how this jumped on the needles before this one, which is actually sort of more important, but win-win. This goes with the skirt too. Anyways, so with this one, with this sweater version, using this spectacular Wandering Flock highlighter yarn, don't you love it? Look at all those amazing colors in there. So let's talk about the construction really quickly. It is from the top down. It's got sort of saddle shoulder seams sort of here. So all the increases are here and in the neck. So there is neckline shaping. The back is curling over a bit. And so the back is easily 2 3/4 on this one higher than the front. When I'm finished, you'll pick up, or I will pick up the sleeves, the stitches for the sleeves and the neckline and work those. That is fantastic. I love it because it gives a really nice fit around the neck. Like you can just see it just sits there. I don't have to fidget. The back doesn't rise up and the front doesn't, you know, go weird. Like it just sits perfectly. I love that. And so then after you've done the shaping and the neckline, then you continue with all of the increases on the shoulders. I have done this one for steeking because I just needed to get through this really quickly. Usually I say work the front and the back to under the arm. This one I just put in 5 steeking stitches and I'll just run a sewing machine along those and cut that open and then continue as I would normally. And I'm making them quite long because what I do like to do with my fuller skirts is tuck them in like a French tuck, they call it now, which I've done all my life. I don't know why this is so huge. It's not new, I don't think. Anyways, so French tucking it, I think it's really chic. Now, this is what I'm gonna ask of you guys. Can this stick up here? Probably not. I will just, it's a bit heavy. Oh, there's a little hole. Perfect. Okay, so you can see it. It is really interesting because it can look like a lovely neutral, and I'm really excited about that color. But what I do want to do is potentially, and I don't know if I have to, I think I have enough yarn, but what I would love to do is add a contrasting color to the turtleneck and maybe the hem and the cuff, which would be down here. Just the bind off of the cuff and the hem, but then have a totally different color for, you know, in the neck too. So I've got some options, and I thought I'd run them by you guys. I do have to, probably will have had to start before you guys even see this episode. So I'm asking, but I'm also using this as a way of thinking and talking it out loud so that I can even work it out in my own head. I also find it interesting to look at the screen. Like, I find it interesting to, it's almost easier to make a judgment call in 2 dimensions. My son's got his prom next week. He couldn't really see whether the jacket that he was buying fit him well and would look good with, he wants to wear, we have, he has a custom McDonald kilt. So he wanted to make sure that the jacket sort of coordinated with the kilt and fit him well and stuff like that, and the whole outfit went together. And so what we started to do is just take pictures in the shop and then at home, and that really helped him really see, because it's just so much easier in 2 dimension rather than like in a mirror, because I feel like when you're looking at yourself in the mirror, there's some weird process that goes on in your mind, and it's not going to reflect exactly as it is in real life in your eyes, if that makes sense. So I've got some really fun options here. So this is the yarn itself, the Wandering Flock, and it's the highlighter color. So that was really interesting. The other thing that was really interesting is looking at this and looking at the options from the skein to skein. It's good, but this just looks so different in the knit fabric. So I'm so grateful that I have all these yarn scraps and bits and stuff like that. I've got some full skein, some scraps, some, you know, whatever I have lying around, because as I knit it, I can also look at it. So, because looking at it in a skein is kind of deceptive. So I've got 2 more skeins, which I am doing it helically, so I should have no problem to finish this with the long sleeves and everything like that. And I probably could do the turtleneck if I wanted to, really all in one color. The reason I kind of don't want to is for a practical purpose. I don't like wearing white because I'm really clumsy. And I also wear every day a face cream with sunscreen, and it has a really, 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 really little bit of color in it. And I would hate to think that I'm putting it on my sweaters. So you'll notice that all my turtlenecks aren't white, because that would turn me off, and then I wouldn't want to wear it, because I'm very precious about things. So if it's at all like fragile, I enjoy looking at it, but I don't want to touch it. So help me with this. I see this color as quite yellow. So one option would be, and I've got more scraps of this, would be to use the Wandering Flock in the purple, which I don't think there is purple in the speckles in the skein, but with yellow, purple is the contrasting color. It's the other side of the color wheel. So it'd be like a nice icy purple, especially in Bermuda. Purple is our shadow. So in our rock walls, the purple in it is the shadow of the rock, or the shadow of like sun-bleached wood. So that's how I see purple. So it'd be a nice shadow. I also think purple looks really good with silver hair. So that's one option there. And I'm not limited to this amount. I have more. Another option, because in this, there's blips of really beautiful, crisp blue. There's a good one right there. So I have this scrap from the Lemon Kid, and that would be really nice too. So with that would be lovely, because if this sort of reads a sort of soft, warm yellow, this is kind of cool, crisp, and that would be kind of, again, another contrast and another sort of element. And I like the cool blue. I think it'd be great, and it would look good with blue jean, like denim skirts and stuff like that. So those two options, purple, blue. Another option is, a long time ago, I hand dyed this, and I've got another full skein, and I had this bit of yarn here, and I think this is a Rowan mohair, and I think this is, actually I know this is me hand dyeing Knit Pick Stroll fingering. So it is a fingering. So in order to make this match in weight with the DK from Wandering Flock, I would have to hold these double, and that could be really fun too. And again, you can probably see the orange little blips there. So that's kind of cool too. I like it. I'm not sure if this is quite the expression I'm looking for, but while knitting it, the orange is really, really, really fun. So another option. Another option is this in certain lights can read kind of green. So while purple is the contrast color to yellow, pink is the contrast to green. And again, I have here Wandering Flock Singles Color Neon Pink and Wandering Flock Mohair also in neon pink. So would that held double be more fun? I'm not sure. I was really hoping I'd hold this up, it would be so obvious to me. Maybe when I'm editing this, it'll be more obvious. But there is a lot of lovely pinks in there. You can see sort of right up here. Is that what I should do? 2 more. Or do I just go highlighter yellow, which would actually keep this more flexible, I think. This would be almost the neutral, I think. And again, this is exactly the highlighter yellow that are in the flecks and the blips here. So this is Wandering Flock Singles. I do like Wandering Flock a lot, and this is called YOLO. It's a great highlighter color. And this is Fiber MacGyver. I'm pretty sure. I don't have the label in here anymore, and I'm sure that would be enough. So that could be really fun. Part of me is even leaning to this, although it sort of doesn't really help with my kind of fear of, you know, practicality, being practical, not fear of being, the need to be practical and fear of staining things. Final one from another design that I did, Deep Dean. Oh, it's funny. These two are from my design Deep Dean that I published a couple years ago. Anyways, this is the other one from Deep Dean. And this is, again, the same DK as I'm knitting here. So it would be consistent with the base. And this is color Citrine. And that's kind of cool too. And again, neutral. But would it still, not that it has to just go with this skirt, but anyways. When this was in its yarn, like in this, I thought this was the best color match. And then I got really confused when I started to knit it out. So curious on what you think. I do kind of like that. Because it's kind of opposite. It's still yellow, which is predominantly in here, but it's not the fresh neon yellow, which is in the dye. It complements the base, the natural base of the sheep, sort of the yarn, I should say. That's kind of neat, huh? And it's also a little bit more unexpected because here it's all sort of fresh pastel colors. And this would be moody, an in-between color, a murky color. Maybe I'm back to leaning on that. I don't know. Let me know. I'm so curious for your thoughts. The one last thing, the one other thing I wanted to talk about with this design is that it is a drop sleeve design. So you literally knit to your width in one area and then straight down. Like there's no additional stitches that happen here. Your width is created at this point and then it's basically straight down from here. So you get that kind of tenty shape, which I'm so drawn to right now. By having the fitted sleeve cuff, this then contrasts the very tenty shape, so it gives you some, it's more flattering, I think. So even in the long sleeve, it'll be a fitted sleeve. Now, of course, because it's such a simple construction, like I talked about before, arms and sleeves come in all sorts of sizes. So it's super easy to just modify this depth for whatever. So when you're knitting it, I would just measure your arm area where it's going to hit, and use that diameter as your guide. You know, cut it in half so that, you know, half is on the front, half's on the back, and you know how many stitches. That said, what I do want to talk about is sweater construction, which I know I talked about at length in episode, I had to write it down, 33. And in episode 33, I talked about sort of 6 main sweater constructions. Totally, I would suggest you go back and look at that if you haven't already. I think it's really important to know which sweater constructions have inherent qualities, especially those, you know, for fit, for like for how you're going to knit it, circular yoke versus raglan versus sort of drop sleeve, etc., etc., etc. With a drop sleeve sweater, you really need more ease. So in order for it to work, the width has to come down your arm. I like it when it goes halfway, so this point here, halfway between your upper arm and your elbow. So that's sort of halfway, basically. And then I add the cuff after that. That allows the sweater to drape around your shoulders and function so that when you're moving, the whole sweater is not moving as much too. If you were to make this, and I don't really want to stretch it out, but if you were to make it with, so that'd be like 4 inches less, you can see that there's tension in the shoulder area because there's not the slack in that area. So when you're picking a drop sleeve design, you're going to think, oh my gosh, these are all such big sizes. I'm a 32-inch bust. I don't need a 40-inch sweater. You do for this style of sweater. So my designs for the mango tee start at 40 inches and go up to, I think 68. I can't remember exactly, but they go the full gamut. And it's not that I've missed out the smaller petite people there. The 40-inch is going to catch anyone from a 30-inch bust up to, I would recommend 34, 35. You know, I think there are increments of 4 inches or something. I'm so bad at remembering details. Like, I really rely on my patterns. If people ask me in on the fly questions, I'm like, I have no idea. I've got to look it up. But I do think that the sizes are in 4-inch increments. So while 40 inches for a 32-inch bust might sound outrageous, it's going to give you the best fit. If you don't like oversized fits, you're probably not going to like drop sleeve shirts or sweaters or whatever. One person who I know designs them so that there's an extra little bit here after to make it go over your shoulder without having to have all that ease is Andrea Mowry. She does extend things a bit so you can get away with a little bit less ease. But still, in order for a drop sleeve sweater to work, you need to have the width be down your arm. I like it more maybe than some. I think you get away with a third of the way down, but I wouldn't do much more than that. And so that's the point also that you want to measure for your sleeve cuff. So it's not the top of your arm, which is up here. It's halfway down. So if you're big into strength and weightlifting, like that's probably at your point that, you know, you really need to give it some space, your muscles. I don't work out, I just pull. I get pulled by Luna sometimes, which is part of my story. So it's not very muscly there. Anyways, so hopefully that helps, especially with sort of sizes and stuff like that. But again, I would encourage you to do a little bit of, if you're not comfortable with the different sweater constructions and what each construction offers you as the wearer or knitter, it's worth looking at episode 33 or doing your own research. There's so much on the internet, especially YouTube, and there's so many good books out there on it. But there's definitely pros and cons with different constructions. Like, I think circular yokes are better at a more fitted or just slightly oversized, where this is where what I'm doing these days, because I'm really craving major oversized sweaters or tees or tops. I hope that explains things a little bit. So that is almost it, except for one little other cast on, which I've put on the needles and I have had so much fun with. And that is, I don't know if anyone's seen these before, the Wool and the Gang kind of magic socks. And I bought this, I think these were really popular a while ago, like way pre-pandemic. And I'm so pleased with myself. I not only kept the yarn, but I also kept the instructions and I could find them. So it comes in, the instructions come in this little pouch, pattern plus tapestry needle in here. And it is a cuff down circular sock. Tension is to give these sort of paw print, pre-patterned paw print motif running through it. Gauge is really important here. And so that's what I had fun doing. I started these socks. This is my third start. And I usually knit socks on a 2.25. I don't think they're necessarily, where's the other sock under all this? This is more dense, but I'm just getting familiarized with that yarn. This is not so dense here. This is lovely and I think practical and whatever. And I think it's maybe, now that I'm learning, because I've had to find this specific gauge, which I think is like a 27 stitch gauge. Let me look at my notes because I can't remember. Yeah, so I mean, everything is here. It's a great, I don't know if I'd say the great first sock. Oh yes, so you need to get a tension of 30 stitches per 4 inch. So the great thing is this width has to be exactly 4 inches. So I think I was getting like 34 stitch gauge before. And so the 2.25, while the stitches look great, the motif just like micro striping, like there was nothing recognizable there. So then I thought, okay, I'll go to the 2.25. And I think that's when I got the 32 stitch gauge. And the micro stripings were starting to clump into the, what do they call it? Like the leopard motif. And so I went up one more size to 2.75 and the leopard motif is becoming a little bit more round. It is slanted a bit. This is exactly 4 inches wide. So I know I'm at my best gauge. I would never really want to go any looser with this yarn unless, I mean, I don't know this yarn. It's a really good yarn. It is done by Regia. I know it says Wool in the Gang, but it was a collab. Yeah, a Schackenmeyer. So it was Wool in the Gang with Schackenmeyer, which is Schackenmeyer Regia? Yeah, Schackenmeyer is Regia. So whatever, all the brands together. So Regia and Schackenmeyer, I have great faith in the yarn. I've knit with them a lot. They're lovely. Arna and Carla's collections are fantastic. You know, it's great yarn. So I can only imagine that this will plump up with wash because it seems very loose. Knit on the 2.75 with 30 stitches per 4 inches. But I'm going to trust the pattern. I've enjoyed it so much. The other fun thing to make sure that you're on gauge is at the beginning of the sock after the cuff, you have these 3 stripes and you know you're on gauge when those 3 stripes are just 1 row each. So that's really cool. Which mine was but 3 stitches. So then I thought I could have fudged it because, well, the white was only 1 stitch. So it's close. Anyways, so having fun with that, I am enjoying these so much, and I'm a bit concerned about the durability. And like I said, I go through in the toes is where the weak spot is for me with especially my big toenail. I might see if I have anything to carry along with it in the toe area, or if there's a lot of this main color left, maybe I could just double up on the toe section so that I don't wear through. But I think it's really fun. And I ordered it comes in 3 colors. I just ordered the other 2 colors because I really thought they were fun. Really fun. And the other 2 colors, there's like a purple one and a blue one. So that is, yeah. So I find gauge really fun. I like playing with gauge. If you remember, I did the Burmy Basics collection, which was all knitting in different gauges from 12 stitches per inch, I believe, up to 28. So really fun. I think that's just a fun, it's like doing needle pointing when you do the test testers, whatever. It's just about sort of control and that kind of thing. And I am interested in that. So that is really fun. That's all the knitting. I'll tell you my quick story with Luna about how I grazed up my leg and bruise on my butt cheek, and you know, it actually was really funny. So Luna's a perfect dog. She's fabulous. She's big and she's strong, and she loves chickens. She's really good. She's really controlled until she sees chickens. And right now it's chicken breeding, propagating, whatever. There's like mother chickens with a ton of babies, and they're everywhere. It's a little out of control, and that is a bit of a problem on the island right now, but there's just chickens everywhere. And a lot of my friends have dogs that go nuts for chickens. So it's a big topic of conversations because people are getting injured left, right, and center. So 2 Sundays ago, I was supposed to meet a friend at a bus stop so that we could go for our long Sunday walk. I saw her and I was saying hello to her from a distance, and I wasn't looking at Luna's body language or anything like that, but she saw chicken. She saw family chickens. And so without seeing her body language, I didn't prepare myself, and she ripped off to go chase these chickens in this farm field. And I didn't have a chance to think at all. And so the next thing you know, I'm over a wall, an old Bermuda rock wall, so it's coral, which is really hard on your skin. Over a wall, and there's this little grass patch before like a drop into someone's yard. And I luckily landed on the grass patch, totally skinned up. And I finally realized, like, let go of Luna. So I let go, and then I start laughing because how ridiculous is this? Like, the road that we were meeting on was the busiest road on the island. It's called South Shore. It's sort of our highway that everyone drives at 35 to 50 miles an hour. So it's not really fast. It's one lane each way, but it's the biggest road on the island. Anyway, so all these cars are going by. You see this lady go flying over a wall. My girlfriend, who is the size of a bird, she's tiny and petite and very dainty, and she's panicking as I'm flipped over, and I was about to go off the edge into the person's yard, which is a good 5 or 6 foot drop. So she's grabbing onto me by my bra strap, my like tank top and bra strap. She's trying to pull me back. Luna's now gotten free. I let go. So Luna's off chasing chickens and then realizes that I'm hurt. And so she's coming back to make sure I'm okay. And then she's going back to the chickens and back and forth. It's a bit manic. I start getting the giggles. I knew I'd been scraped up, but who cares, whatever. But I started to laugh. And once I start to laugh, I can't do anything. So it was really funny. Anyways, got myself together, stood up. My friend tried to get Luna up that wall, that 5 or 6 foot wall, instead of running around. And so in the process of that, she's taken off all of Luna's like halty. Everything is now in her, not even in her hand. She somehow drops it. So it's on the bottom. Luna gets up like 3rd try with my friend Judy. And then I'm sort of getting it together and not laughing too hard. She's a bit worried, and she's like, oh, don't worry, I'll hold Luna while you walk around and get the leash. And I'm thinking, oh, lady, she'll put on a saddle and she'll take you for a ride. Anyways, it was comedic, really funny. But yeah, so needless to say, Bermuda coral walls are beautiful and they really work, but they really scrape up your skin. So I can't wear anything that touches it. It's super sensitive and kind of weepy and oozy, but it's healing and it'll be fine. But yeah, for all those people driving by on South Shore Road, I hope I gave them a good chuckle, a fun start to the day. I was clearly fine. There was no panic for anyone, but just, oh my gosh, it was just, it reminded me of Popeye's wife, she would sort of fall over, but get dragged horizontally. I thought a bit like that. Anyways, Olive Oil, that was her name. Anyhow, so that's why I'm not able to wear my pretty new skirt, but I can knit for it. So I just realized, so now I've got 2 to wear with my pretty skirt when my leg heals, and I'm looking forward to it. So I'll leave you with that. I'll leave you with there was more chickens at the post office. I really think they're adorable, but they also are my nemesis, as you can imagine. But when I'm not with Luna, I love to photograph them or film them. So I'll leave you with another little video of a chicken with We counted 14 babies. She is a busy mom. So that was cute. And then I think I've got some more beach shots from another fun walk earlier this week, some videos from the beach. It's just so pretty down there. I hope you enjoy those. I hope you have a lot of great knitting. I'm always trying to be back in 2 weeks. Oliver and I will be traveling. My husband's not a keen traveler, so he gets to hold down the fort and hang out with Luna. Oliver and I are off next week, gone for 2 weeks. I won't say where, keep you in suspense. My intention is that I can get some fun videos, so it'll be more like a travel vlog. My intention in 2 weeks. It's an intense schedule, so I may or may not have time to put it together, but that's what I'm hoping to. So I hope to see you in 2 weeks with some video of where we are in the world. And if I don't, when I get back, I'll put that together for you. But yeah, in the meantime, happy knitting, stay safe, don't let your dogs chase chickens, and I'll see you very soon. Thanks, bye.